Hey guys, I'm at chapter 9 of Amal Unbound. The girls were busy watching television, and Seema and I were getting settled at the table to go over our notes for the day's geography lesson when my mother's friends knocked on the door. I come bearing a lattice this time, Fozia said, stepping inside with Miriam. Is your mother up for visitors now? She's still not feeling well. Now this is too much. She has to start meeting people eventually, Fozia said. Fozia was right. Something had to be done to snap her out of this fog. Maybe visitors would help. I stepped inside my mother's room. Amma, I said, Fozia and Mariam Auntie are here to see you and the baby. This isn't a good time. Her voice was dull. Even though the room was dim, I could still make out the circles under her eyes, etched so deep. I wondered if time would even ever erase them. Lubna lay, swaddled tightly, fast asleep. That's what I was calling the new baby, though it wasn't officially her name. My mother didn't name us until we were a year old, and she knew for sure we would survive. I picked her up, and I cradled her in my arms. They only want to say hello. I'll straighten up the room a little, and I'm going to tell them to come in. I'm sorry. She reached out and stroked my arm. I'm foggy lately. I'll shake it off soon. I know you will, I managed to say. Her gold bangles from her wedding dowry, the ones she never removed because they were her most valuable possessions, clinked against her arms when she touched me. Her frame seemed smaller than it did a few weeks earlier. I drew open the curtains and put away the handful of clothes scattered on the floor. You can come in now, I told her friends. I took my time making chai and arranging a plate of biscuits on the wooden tray. By the time I carried the tray into my parents' bedroom, I was surprised to see my mother sitting up and chatting. It's devastating, Fozia was saying. I've been there myself, you know. I'm not sure how one even recovers, or if you even can, my mother responded. I stared at my mother. It was one thing to feel this way when my baby sister was born, but to still think it now? Marina can't possibly recover. He burned their orange groves to charred crisp, Fozia continued. I heard it was her children playing with the matches in the field, Miriam said. Yes, of course you heard that. Who would dare accuse him openly? Mark my words, one day he's going to hurt the wrong person, Fozia said. These things catch up with you. He runs this town. Men like him suffer no consequences, my mother said. My hands unclenched. It was the Khan family they were talking about. Never thought I'd say this, but it was better when his father was running this town, Fozia said. Sure, Khan Sahib threatened all sorts of things, but did he ever do them? To teach a lesson here and there, yes, but his son, Jawad, ever since he took charge, things are out of control. I really think he enjoys punishing people. Owe him nothing, and he cannot harm you, my mother replied. Except everyone does, Miriam said. We need his filthy money. Maybe if we all united against him, something could be done. It's happening more and more these days. People are banding together and overthrowing their landlords. I read about it in the newspaper all the time. The Khan family would never let that happen here. Remember Harazbad, Fozia said? The people in that town made a pact. They refused to pay their debts until he stopped with the threats. Forget Mania's measly acres. He destroyed their entire village. Every last orange grove and cotton field. Jawad Hasib sent quite a message. My mother lifted the teacup from the ground and brought it to her lips, and she took a sip. I'm thankful we're on the other end of the village, far away from him, she said. I gathered their empty teacups. I didn't really care about Jawad Sahib and his acts of vengeance. My mother could have been discussing the devil himself for all it mattered. I was just glad to see my mother drink her tea. It had to be a sign. I stepped into the kitchen as my father came home. He slipped off his shoes on the woven mat by the front door. Fozia and Mariam Auntie are in with Amma right now, I told him excitedly. She's drinking chai and talking. She's even smiling. Good, my father said. Maybe she's starting to get better. Why didn't I push her to meet her friends sooner? I went into my bedroom and I ran my hand over my uniform hanging in the closet. It was starched and ready. Maybe in a few days I could wear it again. Amal, my father said. He watched me from the door away. I didn't mean to get your hopes up. Drinking a cup of tea is nice, but it's still going to take time for her to fully recover and be up and running the house again. But maybe... No, Amal, I'm sorry, but it has to be this way. But did it really have to be this way? If I were a boy, would I be staying home to fold laundry and iron clothes? If I were a son, would he so casually tell me to forget my dreams? I rushed outside and I sank out into the front steps. My mother was adamant about our education. If only she could get better, everything would be back to normal. Look who it is. Hafsa pedaled up near me on his younger brother's bicycle. She dug her sandals into the ground, slowing it to a halt. Do your parents know you're riding a bicycle again? I asked her. Most people around here frowned upon girls riding bicycles, and Hafsa's parents had let her know they were one of them. My brothers can ride a bike, then I can too, she said. Besides, maybe I'll be the next Zenith Irfan and bike across the country. That was a motorcycle, I reminded her. Same difference. The voices of children playing cricket in the nearby open field floated over to us. How's Seema as a teacher? She asked. The power's gone straight to her head. I let out a small laugh. She won't even repeat the questions on the spelling test, no matter how much I beg. Sounds like Seema, Hafsa smiled. How's Miss Sadia? I asked. Ever get that bell? Ha ha, I wish. She asks about you every single day, though. Hafsa rolled her eyes. If we thought you were her favorite before, we definitely know you are now. Well, you can become her new favorite, I swallowed. My father doesn't seem like he'll be letting me go back to school anytime soon. No way. You better be back. We're going to college, remember? I'm not rooming with a total stranger. Let's hope he changes his mind then. Hope? Hafsas frowned. You think my dad doesn't grumble about all the money my books and uniforms cost him? But he knows it's less of a headache to send me to school than to keep me home. You can't just hope, Amal. You have to keep at him and don't take no for an answer. After Hafsa left, I thought about what she had said. Maybe she was right. I had to come up with some kind of plan, but I also knew no plan could work if my mother wasn't any better.